Hello, this is Dan. Welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video reading another chapter inside of Clockwork Chronicles story of Hermitcraft Retribution. You know where this is going. We're reading chapter 13. We might move on to chapter 14 depending on how much time passes. But yeah, this is perspective of Grian, if you haven't figured that out. Let's get right into the video. Chapter 13. There you are, a voice called from below as the group neared the bases. Grian looked down, seeing that Jem and Pearl's houses seemed decent with minimal damage, although he did notice a few fortifications on the walls and roofs. He wondered if this was the remedy to the potential of another aerial attack. He spotted Pearl standing between two houses in front of a tent. "Pearl!" Jem gasped in excitement, swooping down to tackle her friend into a hug. "Where have you been? I've missed you." "I've been busy," Pearl mused, pulling her friend closer before she pulled away. "Just needed to make sure no one could surprise our friends with those sneaky portals. With those pesky portals." I repeated myself multiple times before I got it right. It is what it is. "Right," Jem stated with a quick nod. "Where's everyone?" "Tango dropped by Doc's place to help with something." He spoke to Julius about. Pearl frowned. "So he's on our side now?" "Yeah," Scar said triumphantly, as Caleb helped him into his wheelchair after the elytra flight. Scar was able to fly on his own, although landing was always the hardest part, due to an experiment gone wrong thanks to Gerald, taking Scar's mobility in his legs. He didn't agree with what Campbell was doing, and decided to go his own way for a bit. He's been helping us a little, though. "All right," Pearl replied, although she did sound sure of her own words. "Well, the interns have arrived." Carl's chatting with Matthias in Jim's base. Beat-ups is giving the kids a tour. "Then that's where we're headed." Jem smiled in Grian's direction. The hermit nodded, glancing over at the others. "Is Jelly nearby?" Scar asked curiously. Pearl pointed behind her, toward her base. "She's somewhere in my place. My protector didn't want me to have to go back and forth just to look after her. Too risky." "Yeah, it seems to be the threat makes everything more risky now," Impulse admitted with his shake of his head, gesturing for Scar and Caitlin. "What do you mean?" Pearl furrowed a brow. "Short story, Campbell isn't happy with us," Grian pointed out. "We humiliated him back there. Especially Julius. Thanks to his help, we were able to escape." "Ah!" Pearl nodded as Scar, Impulse, Haley, and Caitlin ran off toward her base. "Well, I should make sure there isn't trouble over there. You'll be good, Jem?" We're good." Jem smiled gently, grabbing Grian by the arm firmly. Grian followed her, glancing back to see Pearl running back to her base. Caden was not far from them, as Grian met eyes with the men. Just seeing him there was reassuring. They made it to the front door as Jem pulled him away from the window, putting a finger to her lips, putting a hand on the door. Grian nodded, taking a glance out the window. Matthias was talking to another man, his features angular, almost hollow. The man was shaking his head at Matthias. Jem pressed her ear to the door, Grian doing the same, noticing a slight smirk on Caden's face. The man said nothing, however, more amused than anything. "Sorry again for being a bit delayed," the unfamiliar man grunted. "But are you sure this is a good idea, with the amount of time this space has been attacked?" "If you have questions, you can ask Tom," Matthias replied. We've talked it over thoroughly. We need the extra help, and the kids are needing experience. We have a few people here who can continue their training." The other man sighed. "I just think they should try something quieter, not as chaotic." "We don't get attacked every day, Carl," Matthias chuckled. "Campbell has many targets here that we need to protect." "But all in one place?" Carl's eyes widened. "It's a proven method that's worked," Matthias nodded. "The hermits are stronger when they're together. They'll do anything to help one another. The closer they are, the better it'll be. We've tried keeping them safe in their own bases, only to have problems time and time again." "Very well," Carl shook his head again. "But it is our job to protect these YouTubers anyway." "And we do," Matthias said firmly. I think I spent the last few days looking for my charge before learning she was in good hands. But you still should have been there, the man pressed. She had company with many capable young protectors, including Rose's older nephew, Besides replied. Grian glanced over at Jem, who gave him a reassuring smile. Sam has fought through far worse than most of us. Besides, I had other matters to attend to, including making sure the hermits here were safe. Of course, Carl nodded, straightening. I'm sure they appreciate the work that you've done. You should probably get going. Matthias glanced out the window as Greaves looked back, Jem following not far behind. Tony will want to report of the passage. I'll see you again soon, especially to check in to see how it's going. Carl replied, lifting his chin. Grian heard footsteps as the front door opened. The man stood just a few feet from him, his eyes glancing back over into the room. Take care, Matthias. I wish you luck. Same for you, Carl, Matthias said matter-of-factly. If there's a problem, I will let you know. Carl waved at the man, walking toward the front entrance, not even looking back once. If he had, perhaps he would have seen the two hermits huddled behind the door. Grian looked over to see Katie crouched next to them. I think it's safe to come. Jem giggled, jumping up and entering the main room. Matthias! Hello. The man smiled as his charge hugged him. I'm glad you made it back safe. I missed you. She pulled away with a beaming smile. So, how are things? Everything seems to be as per usual, Matthias shrugged, pulling over the blinds. The hermits are safe, your friends are safe, and there hasn't been any sign of intrusion. That's good, Jem nodded, looking over at Grian. We were just wondering. Sam heard word from Rose that some prisoners had escaped. Caden stepped forward. There's a very good chance someone, whether it's Campbell or not, may send an assassin to harm, capture, or even eliminate one of the charges. Matthias frowned. That's not great news. Caden nodded. We seem to have made it here without trouble, at least. Just figured I'd let you know. Where's Beat-Ups? Grian asked quickly, wanting to change the subject. Upstairs somewhere. Matthias gestured to the direction of the stairs. Or in the bunker, although I didn't hear him come down. Grian didn't wait, running up the stairs with eagerness. He made it to the top when he heard voices down the hall as Beat-Up stepped out of a room, but, And then we have the storage room over here for supplies. Oh, hi, Grian! Grian smiled as Beat-Ups gave him a delighted wave as three kids walked out of the room. They were all about 15 or 16, 2 boys and a girl. This is my friend Grian, Beat-Up said excitedly, gesturing for the hermit to come closer. One of you will be assigned to watch him. Two of my other friends. What about you? The girl asked curiously. You're in hot water with your help for Rose. Beat-Up chuckled. Isaac's pretty good at what he does. Usually, that would be fine. Of course, if the situation arises. You know I'll have your back, Grian teased, nudging the hermit playfully. Besides, we have Kate and Haley with us. Haley? The girl's eyes widened with intrigue. I thought she would have returned with Lizzie and Stacy. She wanted to help us instead. Caitlin will need to have proper training as well, Beat-Up said matter-of-factly. We can help out too, one of the boys insisted. She decided this before we hired interns, Beat-Up smirked. Got it. The boy shared a smile, turning to Grian. I'm Josh, by the way. This is my brother, Luke. I'm Eliza. The girl smiled, giving a little curtsy to the hermit. Did you travel here go okay? Yeah, without a hitch, Grian shrugged, casually. Definitely no assassins lying in wait to kill us, Assassins? Beat-Up frowned. It's been a wild few days, Grian pointed out. Totally, Josh agreed with a flash of a smile. When Liam went missing, there was a thick atmosphere in the air, like everything had gone stale. Dangerous. How is Liam, by the way? I know Beat-Up said he was doing it better, Eliza said, gesturing for the group to keep walking out in the hall. No one objected. He's doing all right, Grian smiled meekly. He's suffering from nightmares about what happened. Oh. Luke gulped, shaking his head. That's no fun. Beat-Up nodded before rolling his shoulders back. I need to check in with a couple things. Can you take them to their rooms in the tower, G? Unless, of course, they'd rather stay here. What would you prefer? Josh asked cautiously. Whatever makes you comfortable, Peter replied. Besides, we can't have everyone sleeping in the sleepover room. Grian giggled. It's already pretty crowded. It wouldn't hurt to see it and try it, Led offered. We can always change our minds, right? For now, yeah, Beatus agreed. Can't guarantee that when we were ready for more kids. How will you be able to distribute us all? Josh asked incredulously. There's over 20 of us. Some need more protection than others, Grian replied. I don't think it'll be hard. So, who will the other two will be tasked to keep an eye on? Luke pressed when they arrived at the stairs. I'll leave that for Matthias to tell you. He is the lead man, after all, Beat-Up said. Besides, he'd want you to relax for the first day. Here, anyway, to gather your bearings. Grian took a step down the stairs, seeing Beat-Up standing by Scar's elevator. You'll be careful, Bubbles? Isaac isn't far. He's just checking the cameras for me real quick. Beat-Up grinned. Grian nodded, reluctantly starting down the stairs, heading for the front door, finding Caden speaking with Matthias quietly. Grian wasn't quite sure what they were talking about. Grian and Jem was nowhere to be seen. He assumed she probably wasn't far either. Caden, I'm going to take the interns to see their rooms. Caden looked up, surprised for a moment before giving the hermit a smile and a nod. I'll be right behind you. Just need to finish with this. I doubt there'll be a problem. Luke teased with a chuckle. You can never be too sure, Grian pointed out. With my connection with Stampy's sister, a lot of people want to get to me. Oh, Luke swallowed, his eyes watching the hermit for a moment before he nodded. You know his sister? Yeah, Grian nodded. They want to know where she is, and not for good reasons. Do you know where she is? Josh asked, raised an eyebrow. Grian shook his head. I haven't needed to. Not yet. They have Sam first to call if something does happen anyway. Josh smiled. That's good. How's that Gerald? Grian shuddered. He's got this weird obsession with links and bonds. Oh dear, Eliza replied. Beat-Up's told us a little bit about that. You have a strong bond with Scar, right? Mm-hmm. Grian made to the door, pushing it open. I know whenever he's in trouble or in pain. It's like a lifeline, in a way. It's how Scar was able to find us the last couple times. Eliza smiled. And he still haven't been able to stop it? They try, but somehow one of us breaks through. Grian giggled, stepping out into the afternoon sunshine. Mainly impulse, again. He's had to practice. He's been teaching us how to do it. Maybe we could learn. Luke's eyes widened. Grian shook his head with a smile. We'll see. Come on. The tower's over here. The hermit led the teens towards the tower. Glancing up at the balcony warily, he could barely see the camera from this angle. He wasn't sure if the light was on, but it didn't look damaged. There was also a camera inside the second, first, and third floor as well. Grian pushed open the door, stepping in to find two staircases instead of the normal one. He tilted his head curiously. It was probably for privacy reasons. He looked around the room, spotting two hanging signs in front of each staircase. One labeled boys and one other girls. He looked over at the others. Of course, they don't have any for the other stuff, you know, but like... Honestly, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I don't know. It's kind of hard to do something like that. Like, oh yeah, other genders, where do they go? Because they can choose. It doesn't matter that much. As long as they keep privacy. You know, privacy. They probably go to the third floor or something like that, or go downstairs. Like, I don't know. Or you can have a whole other tower for them. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Wow. He looked over at the others. Wow, this is a bit of a change. Liza giggled, pointing to the sign for the girls. Sighed. I'm assuming there are bedrooms for me up there. Yeah, I think each tower can fit 4 people, so if we don't add any extra stuff, Grian noted. Luke, Josh, follow me. Eliza, you can find your own room if you like. Let me know if you need anything. You got it. She gave him a thumbs up, heading up the stairs, 2 at a time. Grian led the boys to the other room. One of you can take the second floor and the other the third, Grian replied thoughtfully. There only one balcony? Luke frowned. Yeah, though it's a major safety hazard. Scar insisted, Grian said sheepishly. I'll take the balcony then, Josh said quickly. Luke glowered at his brother, but said nothing. He went over to the bed and plopped down. Wow, these are comfy. Yeah, Grian nodded as he looked out of the balcony window, feeling a shiver run down his spine. Why did it feel like he was being watched? Grian heard Luke behind him, heading up to the third floor, seeing Josh put down a shulker box. Do you need space? I can go down and wait downstairs. Isn't the rule that you're not supposed to be alone? Josh looked up, raising an eyebrow. Should be fine, Grian brushed off. Besides, I often push the rule, and they usually don't end too badly. Usually. Josh snorted. Sure. At least if something does happen, we'll hear it. So long as you stay in the tower. It should be fine, the hermit repeated. Messiah's ordered you to relax and have fun on your first day anyway. You don't have to worry about my safety yet. Josh shook his head. This is going to be interesting. Grian smiled, waving the boy off as they headed down the stairs. I've got a communicator anyway. I can let someone know if there's trouble. He didn't hear Josh made a reply, arriving to the bottom of the stairs, blinking in surprise. The open room felt darker than usual. No sign of torches or light peeking through the window. He stepped off the last stair, squished. Was the door locked too? Unease filled the hermit as he thought about running back up the stairs and staying with Josh instead. This was beyond weird and ominous. Was this Luke's doing? Was one of his friends pulling a prank on him? Before he could take a step back onto the stairs, he felt a pair of hands grab him, stifling a scream with a hand over his mouth. I wouldn't make a sound if I were you, Grian. A cold, familiar voice whispered in his ear. Grian shuddered, closing his eyes at the hopes that this was just a dream. They would open his eyes and find himself surrounded by his friends. He opened his eyes again to the dark room, feeling himself being pulled backward. This wasn't a dream. It's real. Chapter 14. All he could see was darkness, as Grian squirmed against the man holding him. An arm was wrapped around his chest, pinning his arms to his side as Grian tried to scream, to cry for help. Surely someone would notice the door was blocked off, or hear his cries. Don't bother, the voice whispered with a grunt as he felt air whoosh by his ankle. Light filled the back wall. The hermit, realizing his captors, pushed back the trap door with a foot. Scar! Impulse! Help! Grian thought frantically, trying to reach the link that he had many times before, struggling fruitlessly against the man. Someone stuck in the tower is in the process of kidnapping me. Grian stumbled, the man keeping him steady as they started down the flight of stairs to the secret tunnel below. Grian's heart leapt when he heard something else. Those footsteps behind him? Were his friends coming? Grian, is it okay if... Why is it so dark in here? Unless his voice asked as Grian's heart hammered his chest. He felt the man squeeze his hand harder over the hermit's mouth, warning him not to scream. Hey, let him go, you jerk! Grian heard footsteps charging toward the two of them, looking up just in time to see Eliza pouncing on the man, who grunted, letting go of Grian. Grian tumbled down the stairs, gasping for air as he stumbled to stand. He heard a yelp of surprise as the man threw the girl across the room, followed by a thud. Eliza! Shut it, hermit, or I'll do it for you, the man growled, pulling out a dagger. The iron metal gleamed in the man's hand as the hermit gulped. Now he could see the man's face more clearly, shuddering in fear. He was the same man that attacked Scar, tried to hurt him in impulse on different occasions, who had been locked up, Grian thinking he'd never see him again. Stay away from me, Grian yelled, bolting for the hall toward where he knew the girls' bases were, grateful for the construction of this very tunnel. This kid is made. He screamed when he heard something shatter behind him. A jolt of pain shocked his shoulder as the man slammed him to the ground. Help! Someone please! No one can help you now, Grian, the man growled. You should be careful who you ally yourself with. Grian! A voice called from behind as the hermit sobbed in pain. He looked over his shoulder, seeing Caden barreling toward the man. Josh and Luke right behind him. The man snarled in annoyance, lunging at Grian again. The hermit screamed, feeling like he was being dunked in red-hot lava. Tears filled the hermit's eyes. Hearing more footsteps as the man pinning him down, shouted in alarm. "Get him to Gems now!" Caden ordered the boys. Grian felt someone grab him by the arm, pulling him up. The hermit blinked, seeing Josh shut aside. "What about you?" Luke frowned, concerned on his face. Grian looked up, seeing through tears his protector pinning his attacker to the wall with a sword raised. "I'll be fine, just get him," he yelled as the door opened into the darkness. Another figure pounced on the man. Grian screamed again, nearly falling out of Josh's grip as the boy attempted to drag him down the hall. "Caden!" Grian cried, seeing his protector lying unconscious on the floor, his head and right arm bleeding from the attack as the second man rose. Grian gasped, seeing the dark eyes of Stuart as the man sneered. "Did you really think your protector could save you?" Stuart narrowed his eyes with a sneer. Grian let out a small whimper as Luke extended his sword, stepping in front of his brother and the hermit. "Help," Grian pleaded in his thoughts, as the other man laughed at the boy's attempt. "I don't think your hermits will change." Boy. Sorry. Apologies, I read that wrong. I don't think your heroics will change anything, boy. The other man replied, "We may choose to spare you like I did with the girl." Both boys straightened and tensed. Grian felt lightheaded, leaning on Josh, struggling to keep his eyes open. He wanted to cry, to hide somewhere these men could never find him. Stuart held his sword high, his dark eyes alight with eagerness. "Campbell sends his regards, Grian. Just a shame Julius couldn't finish the job." "You're making a mistake." Grian rasped through tears, gulps of pain. "Hurting him won't change anything," Josh said defiantly to the two men, pulling Grian closer. "We're not afraid of you." "You should be." The other man smiled coldly. "I've trained to kill. I have no issue killing either you or both to get what I want." "No," Grian whimpered, seeing the man glance at Caden. Caden's limp. No one. No one sees anything. Nope, not there. Caden's limp body before chuckling darkly, waving the sword expertly with his hand. "Leave them alone." "Tell them to stand down and I will," the man mused. "You know he won't," Josh warned the hermit in a whisper. Grian smiled weakly. "Trust me." Josh nodded, Grian feeling a strange tingle of hope fill him, hearing a voice fill his anxious thoughts. "We're coming. I'll do anything you want, just please don't hurt them." Grian quivered, his bottom lip pulling away from Josh before stumbling to his knees, clutching his shoulder in pain. "You heard him, boy. Let's through," Stuart snarled at Luke, "or I'll make you move myself." He glared over at Caden's unconscious form, a pool of blood surrounding the man as Grian felt himself starting to shake. Josh knelt beside him. "Step aside, Luke," Josh warned, helping Grian back to his feet. "But we can't just..." Luke gestured to the men. "We can't just let them win." "They won't win." Josh's jaw set with determination, taking a step forward. Luke straightened, lowering his sword with a frown. Josh arrived at his brother's side just as he heard a shout from behind. "Grian!" a familiar voice called. Grian gasped, his dark eyes widening, not noticing the assassin pull something out of his pocket. "No!" Josh yelled, knocking Grian to the floor as glass shattered from above him. Grian heard a scream and a shadow appeared, followed by the man as he lunged for Grian, Luke knocking the man back, sending his dagger flying. Grian groaned, feeling the boy on top of him. "Get away from him!" Haley shouted, her voice sounding muffled. Grian's eyes growing heavy as he looked up at the boy hovering over him. "You're going to be okay, Grian. You're going to be okay," the boy said calmly, his amber brown eyes looking into the hermit's dark eyes. Grian let out a weak sob, tears stinging his eyes. "Caden, Grian moaned with a cough. Eliza. Shh, a voice said beside him. Grian, hearing movement, unsure what was going on anymore. I had to rest, G. You're safe now. Safe, Grian sighed, feeling a wave of relief fill him as someone put a hand on his shoulder. Rest, the voice said firmly. Grian didn't resist, falling into a deep sleep, unsure where he was or what was happening. All he knew was that he felt safe. Warm. And as you saw, that's going to be the end of the video in this part. So we move on to part 4. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you didn't mind any background noise that you may or may not have heard. And yeah, we'll see you guys.